Hello everyone, and welcome back to another WARNO deck deep dive. This time featuring the 79th Guards Tank Division. That is one of my favorite Soviet division to play at the moment, and I know it has the reputation of being somewhat of a basic division with few outstanding features, but I think the playstyle that you get with the couple of outstanding features that it has is still somewhat unique, and in my eyes a pretty good one at the moment. So let's have a look at 79, and let's start in the logistics step, which is a weakness of the division. Your slots here are super expensive, so I think you need a fob here to get enough supplies. But on the other hand, you can make that your strength, having a fob, and we will see in a second how I combine that. With what I combine that. BRDMs here, solid, good, fast, and affordable CV. A bit more expensive than the BMP1 K3, which is a decent option as well. But I'd rather have the fast one here than the slightly cheaper fighting BMP1. It's just still a BMP1, it won't kill much. The RDM being able to run away will be better in survivability than the capability here of firing, so I'd rather take the BRDM to you here. Gets you more points in general because it arrives there quicker, and yeah, the survivability in my eyes also higher than the BMP. So that's the logistics part. Infantry tab, the super cheap RKHM, interesting, really interesting with the cheap price, but the 2 availability obviously a trade-off, and I want to have 7 CVs in this deck, the rest coming in the tank tab, so that's why I take the BRDM there. Infantry, BMP2 infantry everywhere. We have BMP2 Motostrelkis here with the strong RPG, and then BMP2D, which has the better side and rear armor, which can be helpful in ambushes when it gets attacked by autocannons. Yeah, that can be quite nice there. And it doesn't cost you extra, so I would go for that. The amphibious capability that it loses, not really worthwhile. And yeah, these coming with the RPG-22, which is just a bit cheaper, so you get some cheaper Motostrelkis here. The RPG-22 obviously a good bit weaker, but the cheaper combination here is quite nice, and anti-tank is not really what you're liking in this deck. The BMP2s coming in with their own conkers, and you get a lot of good tanks, so having a bit cheaper infantry that can hold the line is pretty helpful here. And then some superior RPOs as the more as you can see unit here. BTR also helpful with the heavy MG, can be quite annoying behind enemy lines as well for some ambushing and so on, but especially just good as a fire support vehicle. And then bringing in the Motostrelki BMPs once with the Gus here to have a cheap, quick reinforcement unit. Conquerors updated here. As I said, you have a lot of ATGMs and so on with the BMP2s and so on already running around, so you don't need that many ATGM units in this. So I'd rather have it with a quicker aim time and a quicker, better accuracy here, and plus a bit better stress resilience when it gets shot at, so that it doesn't get stunned quite as fast. Yeah, that's the way here. You could maybe consider taking the PKM here instead of one of the Motostrelkis in some shape, or the 30mm grenade launcher to just have a bit more anti-infantry. Pull them a cheeky, interesting choice as well. They get a BMP2 as well here, but then they're relatively pricey with 105. Though good anti-infantry obviously with the triple PKM. Yeah, I'd rather take the RPG-22 ones here instead. Artillery is a good tab of this deck, but obviously with the normal logistics, you don't want to go too heavy on it, but that's where I have to play that I often use here. The BM21 Gruts in combination with the FSP with the Forward Supply Point are a really strong combo. Akatsia's now pretty solid as well as a decent sniper. I haven't had too much experience now with the Gwozdika, how good that is. That might be a consideration. Before, the Gwozdika was just too inaccurate to be really used. The 122mm I still have to figure out though, so maybe switching them out for Gwozdika is now the play. But for now, the Akatsia is a pretty efficient unit as is. Can do decent counter battery if necessary as well. And yeah, the long range of it makes it quite accurate as well. So it still has some accuracy bonus thanks to the extra 3000 meter here over the Quad Sticker. I got the unit there to go for now. Tank tab, as you can see, it's a lot of T80 BVs and even some high vet of the IZD version here, as they get the semi-free veterancy here. So taking them on higher veterancy is quite nice. They are really strong 2-vet tanks. They have great accuracy. They have the high speed, obviously. The 72 kilometers off-road is top-end level for tanks. And combining that with a great ATGM as well, the Agona, heavy damage, good range, good accuracy, especially with the up-vet, makes this a super scary tank to play against. Like, they have been nerfed, obviously, but they're still really solid. And the extra speed for the price and the extra and the better ATGM really are worth it in my eyes for 10 points, especially as you get the veterancy bonus as well. And then, yeah, 2 T80 BVKs to get the tanks even one level up further, because you want to have, like, a formation of, like, 3-4 T80 BVs later in the game that just run around, bully people. And then the T80 BVK in there is nice, plus it saves you infantry slots for leaders. So I take them here. The extra price point is fine in that position, the extra 25 points. And then more BVs with veterancy. And then some cheap T80, TO55s just to have something affordable, which is quite nice to have here. Cheaper tank can be quite nice. And the TO55 is a solid one of that. The flamethrower is still a bit problematic with its alignment. You won't have it shoot as often as you wish, but still can be helpful against infantry. And then the normal layout of this tank can deal with IFVs in shorter range and so on as well. And even something like Leo 1s or AMX 30s can be dealt with if you bring them in a nice spot. So TO55, a good unit to bring around here as well. Recon-wise, it's a solid spot as well for this division. It's your only forward deployment that you get here with Spetsnaz GRU, but at least it's one of the best GSR units with the ground surveillance radar. It's high-end level special forces troops, and they have great vision, and they have an RPG. The RPG being super important over a lot of the NATO versions of this that don't have any anti-tank. So these guys can ambush enemy recon infantry and can also, if you put them in the right spot, deal or protect themselves against enemy autocannon recon vehicles, which is pretty key and makes this unit really strong. Like, the damage output is good, the shock and the special forces helping them out, and they obviously have the great vision as well. You want to keep them alive, you don't want to risk them too heavily, but they at least can secure your perimeter in the early game, and that is quite nice. The BRM1 is the unit that I bring with my tanks, usually, as it has exceptional optics, and bringing them with a tank push or BMP push allows you to spot enemy units a bit earlier. That can be quite helpful. I still wish we would get a optics buff. I hope we will get that soon. It's most likely gonna come relatively soon, a bit of an optics buff to all recon units, and then they're gonna be a bit better, which will be helpful. Vetgas being the last unit here, next to BMP 2 Motorrad Vetgas, which is a nice combo as well. Like, that's what I usually bring with the BMP push. One of those mixed together with the other BMP 2 units, and you have a really strong BMP 2 autocannon push there. And the Vetgas is what you bring in cheaply wherever you need recon. So it's a really great mix. Helicopters at the moment, a bit too vulnerable. Not a big fan. The BRDM got just nerfed. Otherwise, it would be a solid tool as well. It's still decent, but I like this loadout here more. Helicopters. Yeah, you get decent options as well. The Mi-8's a bit better now, though still not great, so I would just go for the Mi-24s here, and I just take them all. They are all really solid helicopters. Good rockets, good gun on the P versions here as well, though you have to be a bit careful with the alignment, but they do a bit better now. And then the Cocon ATGMs that all of these get are quite capable as well. AA-wise, we have a strong layout as well. That is something that I changed earlier, but I guess I forgot to save. Yeah, you have long-range AA, you have non-radar AA vehicles here with the Strela that are also pretty affordable, that can be helping out if the enemy is playing seat heavy or so. And then some normal Iglas here with veterans here as well, so that they're a bit more efficient, especially the aim time. Every second here that, or any split second that you reduce it, means that its chance on attacking high flying planes gets better. So that's quite helpful, and you won't spam them around as you have other choices as well. Tunguska's really important to have them if the enemy is helicopter heavy, to have them around to protect your TADBVs. But instead of the Coop, also really nice and dealing with any other planes. Coop dealing the 9 damage to them, and then the Tunguska's gun securing the kill if something comes in. So that's a nice combo as well. And yeah, the Coops, as you can afford 2 cards here, I take them upvetted. Because you usually don't want to bring 6 around, it's too expensive, and the extra accuracy on the Coop is really helpful. And then, in the end, you also have some planes here with SU-25s and MiG-29s coming around as well. And that really is a pretty defensive air tap. I don't quite see myself spamming them. You would have to, for the 3-cost slots, cut too much other stuff out. So, yeah, MiG-29s here with long range. Special missile here. You have to play them a bit carefully, but they are infrared missiles, so you can turn your plane away after they fire both, and they will still track, which makes them a lot better than other Soviet planes in that regard. So the maneuverability is still not amazing. So yeah, this is the deck. You have to be careful early on, because you have the Felt Depot, or the fourth supply point that you have to protect. But once you get rolling, you have pretty cost-efficient combination, even with the TADBV being nerfed a bit. And the artillery is really solid as well, especially against forward deployed divisions. Using the Gruts to deal with the enemy is important. And then the AA doing a really nice job to keep you clean against any air spammers as well. You are safe there. MiG-29 here, really cost-efficient fighter as well. You just need to be careful of them. If you feel like it and you feel like you get air spam too much, maybe change out one of the SU-25s for MiG-23s. I just like the SU-25s as a chance to punish enemies who don't take your air threat seriously. Then I come in with them later on and punish them for it, but that's just me liking SU-25s. So, yep, I hope to see you in the next one. I hope to see you checking out the 79th a bit more, guys, out there. I think it's an underrepresented division at the moment. And have a nice day. Bye-bye.